speak into you. Do you need help to cross over to the spirit realm?
In amongst the noise and chaos of our daily lives, we try to find meaning. Why are we here? What's it all for? And is there anything beyond what we normally see and hear? What we think of as our reality? The fact is, ever since we gained consciousness, many of us have tried to form some kind of a relationship with the dead. Have you ever noticed our darkest fears are all life-threatening? Our favourite stories on film, TV and in novels are all about defeating death because we deeply fear the other side, the veil beyond life. Some of us believe there's a heaven and a hell, a paradise to come, or eternal damnation. Some of us believe in reincarnation. We are spirit first, then human, then back to spirit, over and over, aspiring towards enlightenment, whatever that is. But isn't all this just silly superstition? Isn't being part of a modern technological society about letting go of things we can't prove? I mean, really, what is the purpose of believing in a life beyond this one? Is it a fear of becoming nothing? Are we so terrified of that?
Hey, settle down. So, what do you reckon is the meaning of life? It's just nature's way of keeping meat fresh. Thank you.
My guess is people need more than this simplistic explanation. Much more.
I became attracted to spirit one night. I was watching Most Haunted, the television show, and I saw psychic medium Derek Akora. He was amazing. The things that he came up with, he was so specific with dates and people, and he could get names and things that, like, he shouldn't actually know.
Now, spirit works with feelings. So when you start to awaken to working with spirit, it's all of your feeling centres that start to shift. So it's an inner experience. So the person who's receiving the message knows completely that they're talking to that person, they can feel them, they understand the messages that are coming through.
It would seem that awareness of the spirit world requires a degree of psychic ability. So let's start at the beginning. What does it actually mean to be psychic?
I've always heard voices and I've always seen spirit. And I've always followed my gut reaction. The times I've gone against it, I've really paid a big price.
We've all experienced déjà vu and coincidences, but is there more to it than that? Do psychics genuinely know the future? And if so, how do they know?
We're tapping into another dimension, another energy, and that it's really all there in front of us. It's just that sometimes we need to find the right key to open the doorway.
What is it exactly that psychics are tuning into? And how can it help us?
I'm here to assist others to discover the potential that they hold within them, to live life to their highest potential, free of the past, free of blocks, free of doubts and lack of understanding. So the abilities that I have assist in all those areas. So I'm working with the guides to give them the information that they ultimately remember. It's like a remembering process for them. And then from that, we can work on and move on to release the past and to set them free so they can experience more joy, love, passion in their life and be who they truly are, who they long to be.
I first realised I was clairvoyant about 12 months ago. I do believe that I have good instincts, but I didn't have the evidence that I was clairvoyant until probably about 12 months ago.
Evidence for psychic phenomena is often circumstantial and hard to prove. But let's assume it's true.
Well, my earliest memory was probably 5, and I used to see things. Some of it, because I didn't understand it, was a bit scary, I suppose, to start with. And then through my teenage years, I had a lot of visitations as a young teenager.
When I was young, I was a bit frightened. I'd stay up a lot at night looking from the door to the window. Had a lot of experiences, and I didn't have a way of communicating that or really understanding it, so I think I pushed it down a lot.
Many spiritualists believe that we're all psychic to a degree, and that the development of your psychic ability over time is called your journey.
So my spiritual journey began about 16 years ago, but I had a calling within me to do something more personal, more inner, and I went first of all into massage and shiatsu and reflexology, so I trained in all of those things in England, and that was interesting because it made me very aware of energies, but I wanted to know more. It awoke my curiosity.
Some spiritualists believe that children have natural psychic abilities that are often mistaken for youthful fantasies.
In fact, when I was little, I would never go to sleep with the light off because there used to be people standing beside my bed, and I would even have my head under the covers because it used to frighten me, and I didn't know what it was. And when I found out, when I went back to England in 1978, my grandmother told me that I was always the way I am, and that used to make my mother very angry, so I guess I closed off for a number of years. But it was 1971 when I started waking up. I call it waking up, and realising that it wasn't in my head. I wasn't schizophrenic or anything like that. It was actually that I was psychic.
Indeed, there is a movement within the spiritualist community to encourage children not to let go of their latent abilities, and perhaps to create a new generation of more psychic individuals.
I believe it's important for children to grow up with a spiritual awareness. For one reason is because we have one. You know, when we're children, we have a spiritual awareness, and it's to me, it's better to encourage what we have naturally, what comes naturally, than to try and stop us by saying, well, that's your imagination, stop doing that, behave. You know, to me, it's better to encourage something that's natural.
Before, because none of my family had experienced anything like that, so I had no one to talk to. So until I was about 20, 21, and I spoke to other people who had similar experiences, it started making sense. I always had a fascination with spirit all the way through growing up, but I didn't understand a lot of it because I didn't have any information.
When I was very little, it was wartime Britain, and according to my grandmother, I used to tell people what was going to happen. And this particular day, the neighbour, Mrs. Coleman, which was 2 doors up, I told her she was going to get a telegram. And in those days, you know what the telegram is. And she did the next day. As a result, my mother got very angry.